Okay, introduce yourselves.
I'm Lynn Bauer.
And I'm Rebecca Varnum. And behind the camera is our awesome Tara, who will be our structure and help Lynn and I to stay a little bit on track tonight.
It's kind of hard.
How long have you guys been friends?
Like 5 years, probably,
Five-ish.
since middle school for my kid.
Yeah. So Becca has a graduating senior,
Yeah, he's going to be 18. He thinks he's a man.
and I have a freshman, a 7th grader, a 3.5-year-old, and a 4-month-old.
And when we met, she only had 2 of them. So she's doubled,
Yeah.
and I'm getting rid of mine.
Empty
No.
nester.
Oh, Lord. Let's not go there.
Oh.
I'm not ready for that.
When or how did God bring your friendship to a place where you thought about discipling each other, and who reached out to whom?
Well, we became friends in the lunchroom at Waterloo Christian School, and that was quite fun.
Yeah, just kind of like went from there. Probably for the first year we just saw each other on Mondays.
Yep.
And
Like
hey,
you would
how are
come-
you?
You would come in and say, what would you say? You always had something smart alecky fun to say.
Smart Alec? Me? Or I'd be bouncing off the walls.
Yes, you'd be bouncing off the walls, and I'd say, how many sparks did you have today?
Only 2.
We had lots of shenanigans going on in the
we
lunchroom.
did.
It was
Sounds
fun.
like it.
And Lynn was always trying to keep me in check because I'm not exactly like, the normal, like, Christian school mom. So she kind of sometimes had to tell me to, like, bring it down a notch.
And she always made things fun.
That is true.
She brings out my fun side.
So how did that turn into you guys doing discipleship type stuff?
I don't remember.
It was probably Lynn saying we should do this study, and I said no.
And I said, yes.
I probably told her a couple times. She'd be like, "We should do this study." I'm like, "No."
Yes, we're doing this.
Yeah, and then it really was. She's like, "Okay, you need to be at my house at such and such time because we're doing this." And I'm like,
You're crazy. She would tell me that. You're crazy.
"Yeah." And she'd be like, "It's gonna be so good." I'm gonna be like,
Be so excited like this.
and it's gonna be so. No, I don't want to do this.
But you went
She won.
anyways.
Yes.
She won.
Yes.
I don't have the heart to tell her no most times.
How did it look in the beginning? Did you guys just...
Didn't
Yeah.
we do a group study? Was that our first
The
thing?
first one was when we did it with
It was Tara.
Tara and Amanda.
Yeah, and Beth Huffman. Was there somebody else?
Yeah, well, wasn't my friend Amanda there?
Yeah.
But I don't remember what this study was that we did.
We did Armor of God, didn't we?
Yes, we did Armor of
Yeah.
God by Priscilla Schreier.
Yeah,
It was
that
a
was
fairly
good.
new one.
I think was that the first time I had done that?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, you were my guinea pigs. Yeah.
Yeah, so Lynn invited 4 of us girls. I didn't know Beth or Tara.
Mhm.
And my friend Amanda only knew me and didn't know Lynn or anyone else.
Yeah.
And that was the first one, and that was, what was it, like 8 weeks or something?
I think so.
Okay.
Maybe.
And then Lynn disappeared. She went and had a baby, and the rest of us
Yeah.
just stayed friends and stayed doing studies.
Yeah.
Ish. Social hour.
And then we would just get together.
Yeah. Whenever life could,
Yeah.
like over coffee or
Yep.
every so often, one of us, generally Lynn, would be like, "Hey, there's this new study out. Do you want to do it?"
Yep. Yeah.
So you really were her guinea
Did it
pig.
look like I
She
wanted
was
to?
my guinea pig.
Yeah. Lynn tried all the discipleship stuff with me. Say that 3 times fast.
How do you guys do life together now? What does your relationship look like now?
Mostly just whenever Becca's not busy.
Oh, wait a second.
You're the busiest.
She's got 4 babies and a husband, so I think
That's
she's
true.
busier.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You are super busy.
No, she definitely is busier than I am. You know, it looks like sometimes we'll just text each other now.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times it's
Yeah.
through text, or we'll just call each other if we're on the way somewhere.
Yep.
We do have to plan like our get-togethers, you know, like 2 or 3 or 4 weeks out now,
Yeah.
most of the time.
Yeah.
Although this week I did call and say, hey, I'm not doing anything Monday night, you know, what are you doing?
Yep.
I have a free night. What are you
So we
doing?
got ice cream and talked, and I cried, and she listened, and it was good.
Which was good. I'm so glad she was the one crying, because I tell you what, I have done enough crying over the last 3 years. It was so nice not to be the one crying.
Yes. And there was, I feel like within the last year-ish, year and a half, 2 years, maybe 2, before COVID,
Okay.
I feel like we had a shift where, like, I had a dry spell, like a downside, and I feel like you really helped me through that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the, like, the best thing is, like, if I'm having a hard time, like, you know, I went through some super traumatic things 3 years ago, and this poor girl just listened to me cry and scream and say really naughty words, and cry and scream and say really naughty words for a very long time.
Yeah. And
Um,
you did not want to do much with.
I didn't want to have anything to do with God. Don't talk to me about God. Don't. I'm going to church because I'm supposed to, and that's it. I'm going in late, and I'm coming out early, and I'm not opening my Bible, and I'm not praying, and no, I don't want to pray with you. And
And when I first met Becca, like, I was so, like, I was like, I want to pray like you. Like, she just knows God's word, and whether she likes to admit it right now or not, she loves God with all of her heart. And she has a passion for the Lord. She just kind of hurt. Not kind of. You got really hurt.
well, and I'm way better now, but
You're way better now.
like it definitely was just having. It was having friends who would just like let me grieve, because it really
Yeah.
was a period of intense grieving, and not once. And here's the thing that I appreciate, like one of the most, is not once did, you know, anyone like throw the Bible at me or throw God at me and be like, well, if you would have prayed more, read more, you know, like listened to me more or something, like, you know.
Yeah. It was more like, he loves you.
Right.
He's here, even though you can't feel him. He's here, and he wants you to cry.
Right.
It's
yeah.
okay.
That
You
was
can
definitely.
grieve.
And that had been so not my experience with the church. Like my experience with the church was totally like this list of shoulds and what you should do and what your life should look like. And so it was totally a brand new thing to be on this side of it. And it's really like changed the way that I interact with women now, is because I want to be what, you know, what you guys, what, you know, you and Tara were for me. Just that kind of, you know, like just link arms and sometimes drag you.
Yes. There was a lot of dragging.
There's still a lot of dragging.
For both of us, yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Yep. Becca will be like, are you hiding? Because there was one time I was like, I just feel like I'm hiding from God, and like, no, I'm not here. Go away. Go away. I don't want to listen. I don't want to listen. Yes, I do want to obey you, but no, I don't want to listen to you. Go away. I don't want to do what you want me to do, but I will, but I don't want to. And so Becca was that, like, are you hiding today? How are you doing? So I think that was a turn in our relationship too, like,
Right.
in more mutual, more like deeper mutual stuff.
Yeah.
Because there was mutual learning, like, and growing, because I definitely grew being your friend, and
Oh, I'm sure you did. And definitely one of the things I've appreciated is that, like, just being able to be transparent.
mm-hmm.
Like, there's really nothing that either of us are afraid to tell the other one that I'm aware of, you know,
Yeah.
to think that they're going to judge us because,
Yeah.
you know, that's just not ever been something I've been afraid of, is, you know, being judged in the situation. And I've said some pretty just really raw things, like,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. And so recently I felt like, because Becca was so vulnerable and honest about how she felt about things that she has gone through since we've been friends, like, I was able to share something that was really hard with just on Monday when she came over, and was able to cry and, you know, and not feel judged by her either. And so I think that's been huge
Right.
for us. Like, I think that's why we got so close. And when Mike Corbin, when you come over now, says, "That's our Becca."
Oh my goodness, he ran down the driveway. He saw me pull up the day and ran down the driveway and goes, "My Becca!" I was like, oh, I don't want any more babies, but oh, that melted my heart. I'm like, can I take him and keep him?
Yes.
So.
You can't keep him, but you could take him for like a little while.
Define a little while. Like.
Not a year.
No. Okay, so that gives me some leeway.
Like a day or whatever. I don't know.
And do I have parameters on things that I can do versus things that I can't do? Like, tattoos are probably not okay.
No tattoos.
I just...
Ice cream is good. Let's start with ice cream.
Okay. and you have to understand is, like, poor Lynn, you know, like, Lynn's this, like, she's just this awesome person, and I walk in and I've got tattoos and piercings, and she's...
We're just different, and I love that. We're so different. Like, you know,
right.
I mean, the things we share are a love for ice cream.
Yes.
Yes.
Butter pecan.
Mint chocolate chip. We both come from divorced families.
Right.
And have had abuse in our lives. And we share Christ.
We both had some pretty rough trauma.
Mm-hmm.
We did do several studies. I know one of the things that you wanted to know is, like, studies, you know. We've started many studies. Finished maybe 2.
Maybe 2.
We've 3.
tried.
But, like, a 6-week study took us, like, 6 months. Remember Stuck?
Oh, yes. Yeah. No.
Was it
Stuck? No, that was, what's her name? Lisa Turker's book.
Did that really take us 6 months
That
too?
took us because we had, like, that was when I was, like, wanting to hide from God, and you were still in your, I don't want to read my Bible, I don't want to do this.
Right.
But, like, it was so healing for both of us. What was the name of it?
We did, this one was my brilliant, stupid idea.
On your bookshelf there?
It wasn't supposed to be this way by
That
Lisa
was-
Turkhurst.
Yes. That was
And
so good. Oh my goodness. You
her
guys want a
study
good
was-
study? That is a great study.
Yeah. Her study was all about dealing with life's disappointments when life doesn't look like you thought it was going to.
Yes.
That would be my life in a nutshell.
And with Joe going to school and it just being so hard on our whole family, like, that was so on point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the questions I remember in there was Lisa was challenging us to sit with God in our trauma and to, like, you know, take some of the experiences that we had had and to sit with God in them and talk to God about them. And Lynn calls me, she goes, "Have you done your homework yet?" And I said, "No." And she goes, "Are you going to?" And I said, "No." Because that week was sitting with God and talking about your trauma. And I was like, you don't understand. If I open Pandora's box, I have no idea what's coming out.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And I'm like, you gotta do it.
I've avoided it so far.
No! Becca! You got this week. You gotta do it no, you're busy. June.
Okay.
Gotta be done by June.
Here's the drill sergeant Lynn coming out being like, it's gotta be done.
I am so big on working through our crap. Sorry. Our stuff. Sorry. Okay. She wants us to rip it up.
Okay. We did do Stuck, but Stuck was a 6-week study and I hated it. And it took 6 months, but she would not let me quit.
Because you have to work through your stuff.
I don't want to work on that stuff. Then we started Philippians, and then she got pregnant, and then she had a baby, and then COVID, and not necessarily in that order.
And you went to Vegas.
I did go to Vegas for Christmas, and then
Yeah.
Now it's just
Now, yeah, I don't know what we're gonna
Busy.
do next. Are we gonna try to finish Philippians?
no. No, Lisa has a new one out called "Forgive Me What You Can't Forget."
Oh. Yeah, I might need to go through that one.
I've only read like the first chapter, and
I think
already I'm like, eh.
Oh, I think we figured out our next study.
So to wrap this up, what would be one thing to encourage women to pray about God bringing somebody into their life about this relationship and developing this? What would be words of encouragement to the ladies who would be watching this?
You know, I would say kind of like what Lynn Secor said. Like, you know, be looking for who God puts in your life and be praying for guidance. I don't know.
It would just have to happen organically. Like I think
Yeah.
if Lynn and I would have tried to force it, because we are so different, that it never would have worked. But it just happened. Like discipleship, Jenny Allen says, discipleship happens in the middle of life.
Yes.
You know, it happens on the car rides. It happens doing laundry. It happens, you know, while nursing the baby or whatever that looks like. And so just kind of like letting it happen organically.
Yep.
And
And I
then-
think too, like looking back, I think I remember hearing you talk about Josiah, and so like I started praying for you and Josiah's relationship, and then there was one other thing that I remember praying for you about, and like I saw God work in that area of your life too,
Okay.
and I think that's probably why I asked you if you wanted to do a study.
Well, and God knew that I needed someone to help, you know, just come alongside, you know, to being like I'm a single parent, and you know, I just needed someone to come alongside and figure out what this looked like.
Did we start doing study after we were doing the mom's prayer morning at the school? Or was that before?
Like before we did our first study. No, I think that was like way after. Like we would have done our first study years ago.
Okay. That was that was before corporate. That was a couple years before corporate.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So just let it happen organically, you know.
Yeah.
Like ask God to show you, to be like, hey, I need someone that I can be completely transparent with, but don't force it. Like if you force it, it's miserable. Just let it say wild things and see how they respond. Like pick the wildest thing that you can think of.
That would be your advice. I
Yeah.
love her. She's the best.
And don't be afraid to be you.
Yeah. Yeah. Be yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have fun.